No one is telling you the truth about Gran Turismo 7 on PSVR2. There are huge issues with the way this game is running. That's not only causing graphical artifacting and weird blurring issues, but it's also affecting performance. I mean driving performance, your ability to pick out brake markers, to drive to the best of your ability, and no one's telling you the truth. Even Digital Foundry have done what I think at worst is a misleading video where they're showing you social screen footage. This is not how the game runs. So I've gone out here, I've bought the very best cameras, I've put them inside the PSVR2 headset, and I'm showing you complete, honest and unbiased footage on how the game runs. And I think you are going to be absolutely shocked. And if you're a PSVR2 owner, this is going to confirm a lot of the suspicions you've had that when you tell people about it, they say, that must be something that's not true. So I'm going to show you a lot of different areas in this video. The first thing I want to show you is artifacting. On the right hand side, we have the new PS5 Pro setting on PSVR2, the one that's designed to do a different sort of reprojection, basically better reprojection, but it's got incredible artifacting, and I wanted to show you what this tearing, what this artifacting looks like, and you can see it on the right hand side. Incredibly, I'm going to call them out here, Digital Foundry just said, look, the game runs a lot better with the new setting. It's really not that simple, and from my perspective, I'm a racing driver. I've won karting championships in real life. I'm on Gran Turismo to try and drive to the best of my ability, and this is affecting it. Look at the start-finish line here, how it's getting dragged across. Look at the fronts of the cars. The bodywork is changing, but there's even bigger issues I'm going to show you later on with blurring and artifacting that I think has a huge issue in performance, and it's very concerning we haven't been told about this. You can see the blurring on the left hand side, that's reprojection, we'll get onto that as well. But on the right hand side, with this new setting running on the PS5 Pro, there is so much artifacting, it's just completely distorting the picture. And this is what you see in the headset. Look at the Genesis here, sunken into the track. That in no way is a good, clean image. I'm not even sure it's necessarily better than the one on the left hand side, because the shadowing has a lot of issues with jagged edges, and I'm going to show you. But firstly, when you have the setting off, this is the kind of blurriness and reprojection a lot of us experience. So the left hand side is what you get on a standard PS5, it's what you get with the setting off. This recording, by the way, you're seeing right now is me with a 60 FPS 4K camera inside the headset. But I did also shoot with a 120 FPS camera. So have a look on the left hand side and you can see that blurring. On the right hand side you can see the more jagged finishes. But now I'm going to show you with a 120 FPS camera. So it's 120 FPS with the settings off. And have a look at this blurriness, this what I believe is the reprojection, the kind of ghosting. I mean, you let me know in the comments what you think about this. By the way, if you want to support this honest journalism, please subscribe to my channel. It's completely free. I'm just a guy doing this in my spare time. I'm shocked about all of this. Again, you can see the slight blurring. That means that when you're going side by side with a car in PSVR2, or when the cars are in the distance, it's a very disconcerting feeling. When the cars are going quite fast relative to the camera, it seems to be when it's at its worst. Have a look here. Have a look how much blurring there is there. It can be hard to work out kind of what pace cars are going at, what lines they're taking, when they get on the brakes exactly. And like I said, myself as a driver, I'm trying to be super fast. I want to pick out those moments. This is again 120 FPS camera in the headset, and look at the Supra there, just a little blurring and ghosting. Same with the I think the Porsche there as well. Look at the name tags of the Spanish driver. Now back to 60 FPS footage here. So again, looking at that footage, incredible ghosting on the left hand side. I mean, this is finally showing this on YouTube, possibly for the first time ever. This is the unspoken thing. No one seems to want you to know about this, and I've spoken about blurring in my videos, and I know a lot of people without PSVR2 don't really necessarily believe it, and I don't blame you, because the social screen footage is not representative. However, I did find this very unusual thing. Again, right here, this is 60 FPS capture. You can see on the right hand side, that is a PS5 Pro. You can see the poor shadowing and the car sinking, but there's still blurring on the right hand side. Yes, here left and left hand side, but on the right hand side in this capture, we are getting undeniably, I think, a worse experience with the settings on. So again, how Digital Foundry can say that's just perfect, you know, but they didn't say it's perfect settings, but they basically said it's just better in every way. I really don't think it's that clear cut if you're interested in pure performance. Now, I do want to show you the difference between social screen footage and the capture so you can make your own mind up on this. So on the right hand side, we've got the camera in the headset. On the left hand side, the social screen. Now it's a little bit blurry on the right side. It's very difficult to get the camera exactly pointed at the sweet spot at the lens. There's also some dynamic foveated rendering as well that makes elements blurry when you're not looking at them. But you can see the quality is so much better on the social screen. You don't have the kind of issues looking through a lens and things like that on the right hand side. So if you're watching videos, and this is what surprised me about the Digital Foundry one, they never put a camera in the lens for that video. They just showed social screen footage, and I think that is really not representative. By the way, now we've got a comparison with social screen, but on the right hand side we've got that reprojection setting off. Now something I noticed that was interesting when shooting with the high frame rate cameras is sometimes the animation in the cars seem to be updated more frequently with the new setting on. So the new setting is working in mysterious ways. They've talked about asynchronous time warp, and it's a different way of doing the reprojection. And they've acknowledged, by the way, in the settings, if you read the small print that scrolls, that is going to come with imperfections. But to be honest, it's not those imperfections that are the big deal for me. It's more, like I said at the beginning, about performance. And I want to show you some stuff now that I think is pretty crazy. So firstly, we're going to start with the start line here. It's incredible how the new setting completely distorts it. You can see where it really struggles with doing things. Also, have a look how the animation on the car on the right with the new setting seems to be updated twice as much as without the setting, which is super interesting because that will give a sense of fluidity. But this is insane here as well, and this is just PSVR2 and GT7 in general. Have a look at the lines on the left hand side. One red line, right? We know there's one red line here. Well, how about now? There's two red lines. Well, that's interesting. Think about that when it comes to braking markers, and I'm going to brake at the red line, and then you get close and there's two red lines, even if that's only subconscious. If we play it forward, have a look at the white lines here. How many white lines are there? Well, on the left hand side without the setting, there's two white lines. I mean, I find this absolutely crazy that this is happening on PSVR 2. Yes, with the setting off it's worse, but we've seen with the new setting, it brings different issues. So there's no setting on PSVR 2 Gran Turismo where you're getting a kind of clear experience. Yes, you can do that on PC because you can have an absolutely beastly PC that's going to run the game at 120 Hz with no reprojection. And the core of all these issues seems to be that Gran Turismo 7 just cannot run natively at, say, 90 Hz or 120 Hz in the PSVR 2 headset. And if it was able to do that, I think you would do away with all of these issues. They wouldn't have to try and put a plaster on it with a new way of doing reprojection, whether that's time, space warp, or whatever it is. I don't particularly care too much about what the solution is. I'm just here as a racing driver using this as a tool. The reason why I started racing in PSVR 1 and Gran Turismo Sport was as practice for my karting races, and I did end up winning races, I think partly because of the practice I was putting in. So I care a lot about this. I don't want there to be blurry issues, and I want people to talk about it honestly and openly so we understand what the limitations are. This is probably the best example of artifacting I was able to get. Again, this is on a 120 FPS camera, this footage here, and it's incredible looking at the window on the left hand side in this Lamborghini. That's very weird artifacting. And remember, Digital Foundries didn't really mention this, I believe, and they basically said it's just better with this new setting on. And I don't think it's that clear cut. You might really not like that artifacting. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please subscribe to my channel. I really personally appreciate it. And watch this video here for more PSVR 2 comparisons. I'll see you next time.